Hey, everybody. Good evening. It's February 8th, 2023. I'm sitting in my office in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and just trying to keep up this week. I've had a lot of podcast recordings, which I've been excited about. I'll share the one I did today. Sarah Schroeder, she was the track champion at Riverside. And so we finally connected, the two of us, and had a chance to talk. So I just shared her recorded podcast tonight. Excuse me. So you can find that on my page, on her page. If you're a member of the International Women's Motorsports Association, you'll be able to find it there. So that's what's happening there. My guest hasn't arrived yet, and I'm afraid that she may have gotten tied up somewhere. She's a very, very busy gal. Liz Allison was to be our guest tonight, so we'll wait and see if she joins us. I understand that there's been a lot going on for her, and so no problem if she has been tied up somewhere else. Brett Timmerman was also hoping to be on tonight. He's actually in Michigan. So yesterday, I was not planning to go anywhere. I was not planning to see anyone. And so I had taken a shower, washed my hair, hadn't done my hair, had no makeup on, had on a pair of leggings and a sweatshirt and my fuzzy socks. And I'm working away in my office, and knock, knock, knock. I hear somebody pound on my door, and I'm thinking, oh, great. Excuse me, who's here? So I go to the door and I open it, and there's Brett Timmerman. I haven't seen him since last summer, so we only see each other on StreamYard, basically, or talk on the phone. So I was so excited for him to stop by, and he stayed long enough. We went to Texas Roadhouse and had dinner with him, and he got to meet my husband for the first time, and they got along great, talking about tools and projects and welding and all those kinds of things. And so I was really tickled that he stopped. So he travels for his work. He is a service technician for 3D printers. And he told me something interesting. How many years do you think 3D printers have been around? And so I said 10 years, and he said 30 years. So I had no idea that 3D printers had been around that long, because you never did hear about them. He loves his job, he loves to travel. And so we had a really great time together, catching up, talking about plans for the Women's Motorsports Network, because, he's the head of sales here. And although we haven't really pushed our sales per se yet, we are going to be doing that, because, as everyone knows, nothing's free, right? And so we have to find a way to monetize our podcast, our magazine, and all those things. So he and I are working at doing that. Ooh, I'm so sorry. I've been yawning. So it was just so fun to have him stop by. I absolutely made my day. And so hopefully he'll get on here with us here in a little bit. But I just did want to share a few things with you in case my guest got tied up. So Julie Natos has been a friend of mine for probably 4 years, since I started the IWMA. I met her. She is a drag racer. And so she races for Randy Meyer Racing, which is, a very famous race team. Megan Meyer and Rachel Meyer are the daughters of Randy, and they raced before they started having their families in that. So now Julie Natos and Hunter Green with Chad Green Motorsports are going to serve as the full-time drivers for the NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series this season. So that's really exciting for Julie. She did really well last year running in that series, and she's a lovely person. And so I can see why Randy Meyer Racing wanted to keep her on board with them. Speaking of Rachel Meyer and Megan Meyer, Megan actually has, I would call it a marketing business where she helps racers with marketing and social media and what they should and shouldn't do. And I follow her. She's got great information. So if you're interested in learning more about that and getting help with all that, um, find her on Facebook, Megan Meyer, Meyer, and you'll learn a lot from her. I promise you. But one of the things that she recently posted, I don't know why I'm yawning so much, is 5 promotion tips for motorsports teams. And so I'm giving all the credit to Megan, but I wanted to share these with you because you all need to promote your teams all year long. It's not just during race season. And so, but race season is the most important time. So I'm going to share these with you. 5 promotion tips for motorsports teams. Post your race time and location on social media. Don't do it an hour before you race. Do it all week long. Start right after you've finished another race. Start promoting where you're going to be, what time, all the particulars about your race and where you're going to be. And then keep doing it throughout the week so that people remember what you're doing and where you're going. Be interviewed. See, who do you know that would interview you? And you could be on a show like this. You could maybe have something put in the newspaper if you still have a newspaper. A lot of towns don't have those anymore, or they're all online. But you could be in the newspaper. Maybe there's a sports radio show in your town. If you don't reach out to them and ask them for you to be on, why would they reach out to you? There's 120 drivers at the local racetrack maybe. And if they don't follow racing, they have no idea who to contact. You have to promote yourself. Nobody else is going to if you don't do it yourself. Another really important thing to do is to post and tag your sponsors and your manufacturers. Are you driving a Chevy? Are you, do you have a real estate company as your primary sponsor? What do they do? Where are they located? Why would, what are the good things about having that sponsorship on your car? All those different kinds of things. And so you need to promote your sponsors, your marketing partners, and the manufacturers. What kind of brakes do you run? What kind of tires do you have? What kind of all other kinds of pieces and parts in your car? Promote those people. You never know. Sometimes if they see what you're doing, they might want to come on board and put a sticker on the car and give you some free stuff. I mean, it happens all the time. But again, you have to be the one to make it known about those pieces and parts. So that's on you, and that's up to you. Live videos, reels, TikToks, they're all the rage. Video is the hot thing to do. And it's so easy. Everybody has their phone next to them. There's a picture of my dog, my sweet puppy. Everybody has their phone next to them. And so, okay, why aren't you talking into it, doing a reel, showing a video of what's happening at the track? It doesn't have to be very long, even 15 to 30 seconds. Hey, I'm at Kalamazoo Speedway. We're racing tonight at 6:30. Hope you come out and watch. Boom. That's what, 15 seconds. But the more you do that, the more you'll get known for that, and the more your team will get known, and perhaps more people will come to the racetrack, which helps your local racetrack. And then what happens? The more money they have, they can pay out better. So it's all about helping each other and getting the racetrack promoted. We as drivers and teams have to be the ones to do it. The owner of the racetrack can only do so much. He only knows so many people. But how about if you take that times 100 drivers, 100 teams, and they're all reaching out on social media to people they know, their co-workers, their family, their friends, all these things. Then think how many people we're reaching. But you have to do it. Drivers, you have to do it. It's going to help you in the long run. And then the last one that she had for one of her promotion tips is to meet your fans. So that would be autograph night, meet your fans. Um, Maybe if your racing is done, go up in the stands, walk through the stands, hand out some free stuff, have swag giveaways. Um, give a T-shirt away. If your car got wrecked, get a piece of your car away. And whatever it might be. And so you need to be out there promoting yourself, promoting your team, being the driver that comes into the stands to meet the people, because that's really cool. If you're a fan in the stands and you don't really have a favorite driver, but Joe Jones comes up and is talking to people and handing out stuff and whatever, and you don't have to do it every week, but do it every so often. You're going to become a very popular driver. And so that's what you want. And then maybe they'll buy your T-shirts and your swag for sure. So one other thing I wanted to talk about, I've actually been writing some mini courses. I did write a longer course called the Inside Track, Promotion and Profitability for Racetracks, Entertainment Venues, etc. So those are more, that course is a 3-stage course. We did it in stages. Imagine that. And it focuses on the racetrack owner, the announcer, the drivers, the staff, the volunteers, all those people. And it talks about so many different subjects to make a racetrack more successful. Racetracks can get complacent as far as what they're sharing, what kind of events they're sharing and having at their track. Oh, I know what my track's doing. They always do this, this, and this. Okay, that's great, because maybe those are very popular events. But there's also probably room to do something new and different. And so this course goes through so much of that. So it's called the Inside Track. And if you want to know more about it, or if you think your track could benefit from having this course, it's $397 once ever in their life, and they're a lifetime subscriber to it. Every year there'll be updates to it, and if there are updates, then they automatically get those. And so it's a great deal, and it's well worth the $397. So check that out. And then speaking about courses, I've also been writing some little mini courses, and they're going to be launched very soon, within the next couple of weeks. And some of the topics are how do you brand yourself, and why should you brand yourself? One's about telling your story. You think that your story is no big deal, and why would anybody be interested? But they are. They want to know who you are more than just what you do as a race car driver. So some little tips on telling your story and getting people to follow you, be a fan, talk about you, share what you do. They want to know who you are. And if you tell your story, then it goes right on into becoming the favorite driver. Would you like to be the favorite driver at a track? That would be very cool, right? So if you'd like to be on the list, I guess you could say, to receive notice when these courses come out, just reach out to me, iwmanation@gmail.com, and say, hey, I'd like to know more about your courses when they go live. And so, we'll let you know about that. And those will be coming up. Some other ones are going to be goal setting. Now I realize it's February, but racing hasn't started yet. So we're going to talk a little bit about goal setting and what are your goals for your race career this year? What are your goals? What tracks are you going to go to? What are you going to do to promote yourself? How are you going to build your brand? All these different things are part of your goals. And so I have a course about goals. Appreciation marketing. I'm big on that. I send a lot of cards, send a lot of thank you cards, birthday cards, all kinds of cards. It doesn't have to be cards. It can be anything. It can be a phone call, a text, a message, a Facebook message to your sponsors, just in general to your fans. Put it out there on your track page. Thank the tracks where you run for keeping themselves open and providing a place for you to race. There's so many places that you can use appreciation marketing to make you the driver that everybody wants to follow, that wants to cheer for, that wants to be a part of. Etiquette on and off the track. There's no loss of bad etiquette, both on social media. We see and hear about it all the time. Why? Why are we giving our sport that kind of image? So, etiquette on and off the track, not only social media etiquette, which is another whole topic that we're going to cover, but, bad mouthing other drivers, bad mouthing the track, bad mouthing the tire provider, all those things. And then in the opposite, which is what we'd like to see you do, is thank all those people, promote the people that help keep that racetrack alive. For instance, the people that bring the gas that you buy, the people that are, the tire people, the volunteers, just find somebody, pick them out from the track that you go to, and then, mention them on social media and say, hey, I just talk to Charlie every night when I go out on the track, he flags me on. I really appreciate Charlie's dedication to such and such track. Do you know how good that would make him feel? And it should make you feel good too. We're not just there to race a couple of races at night and then go home, work on our car, and come back. It's about building relationships. It's about making long-term friendships. And if that track closed, would you still have those friends? Do you have friends there? So those are some of the things that you can do, which will make your whole racing experience better. It's not just about your car and how fast you can go. Motorsports is a sport. I just had this conversation today with someone. Motorsports is a sport other than maybe golf and tennis and now pickleball. Pickleball is the number one sport in the country. But other than those sports, motorsports is the only sport I can think of that you can play from the time you're little, 4 or 5 years old, till you're 80 or 85 years old if you're in good enough shape. There's not very many sports out there that you can do that. And so, like I said, we just had this conversation today. And why wouldn't you want to promote and make that sport the number one sport and want everybody to be a part of it? They're only going to do that if they hear good things about it. If they hear negative things about it, why would they want to spend their money to come and watch racing or even come there? So, and then of course we'll do a course on social media, how to use it, and that's just a few of them. So if you have an idea for a topic that you would like to have discussed or like me to research and share some information about it, again, reach out to me, iwmanation@gmail.com, and I'll research it and see what I can do to help teach you some things that maybe but you've forgotten. So we're gonna do some of that. Now I've got some questions for you, especially you ladies that are listening. I wanted to do events back in 2019. We actually did an event in 2018, I believe it was, at Michigan International Speedway, and Samantha Bush was our special guest. And then we had like an event out on the stage where they introduced the drivers. We had an event before the race started, and we had women in motorsports that have some cool jobs, like a tire specialist, and one of the ladies worked for the Motor Racing Network, and etc. Well, then what happened? We got shut down because in 2019 and in 2020, I had a lot of events in the planning stages at NASCAR tracks. And of course, what happened? COVID. So since then, a lot of the people that I had worked with are no longer there. They've either lost their job during COVID, they moved on, whatever's happened. So I'm having to start over with events for women at racetracks. Now, they don't have to be NASCAR tracks. They could be a local track. They could be, whatever it might be. And and so then you say to me, well, why are you wanting to do events for women? What about the men? Well, the men can come too. But what I want to do is have an event that focuses on the opportunities for women in motorsports. There's a lot of women who think motorsports is just for their husbands. So they send their husband and his friends to the race and they go off and go shopping or do whatever. What they don't realize is that women are the fastest growing demographic in motorsports, not just as drivers, but also as fans. And the number of women that are working behind the scenes that you don't see in motorsports has grown tremendously over the past 5 years. So, my goal for this is to have a fun event where we have two or three women that are known in motorsports. Maybe it's an engineer, maybe it's a tire specialist, maybe it's the wife of a driver, maybe it's a driver. Hopefully, at some point, maybe a crew chief, a flagger. It could be a spotter. It could be any of those things. But we would have two or three of those women on a panel where you could ask questions and come and get up close and personal with them. There's a lot of things we could do that would make this a really fun event for women to come to at the track prior to the race. Now, my questions to you, and I've got people listening live, and I'll have people listening, to the recording. What would you come to an event like that? What would you like to see at an event like that? Who would you like to see? Is it something that it's worth pursuing on my end? Do you have events at your local track that you're saying, hey, I think this would be a good event to have at my local track? Those kind of things. So reach out to me, iwmanation@gmail.com, and tell me, yes, I think that would be a great event to have. Here's the people that I would love to see personally that I could talk to. Um, there's just so many things, suggestions you can give to me. So I'm reading the comments here. So Tina Lewis, one of my good friends that's in racing right here in the Michigan area, said people don't know what racing is truly about. It's not just cars going in a circle or straight. It's so much more than that. And Tina knows. She's driven, her daughter drives, and so she's been involved in the sport. She knows that it's a big deal. It's a big sport, and the women are starting to take over. She said, I heard a lady spotter Sunday night during the NASCAR race. Now I'm going to have to find out who that is, Tina, because I did not catch that. And I know quite a number of the names of the spotters, and I have a contact who is a spotter. So I'm going to ask him and see if we can get her on, because that would be really, really cool. My hope is one of these days soon we'll have a woman crew chief, which I think that's not far away, and that'll be fun too. So who would you like to see at an event? Would you come to event? It would most likely be some kind of a small fee kind of event, nothing huge. And would you do that? Who do you want to see, and what kind of event would you like to see? So um, send me some information about that, how you feel about that, and I would love to have a chat with you about it. So my guest unfortunately looks like she's been tied up. Brett was working up in Whitehall, Michigan, I think it was today. So he's a couple hours from me. And I'm sure he's probably still at work, because if he wasn't, he would have been on here. But I miss having him on here to have a conversation with. I'm going to have to um, find another host that can help me when he's not here, because talking by myself is not fun. I feel like I run out of things to say. But if you know someone that we should ask to be on our show, we do this show live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. I also record a podcast when the times work for the other person, because Wednesdays at 7 don't always work. And so I invite women to record podcasts as well. So we do that, and then we share those on social media and also through our website. And then, of course, we have the magazine, and the magazine will be coming out next week, the February issue. And if you or someone you know would make a great interview for the magazine, I'm always looking to talk to those women as well. So that's about everything I have tonight. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot prepared because I was expecting a guest, but honestly, I understand when you're busy and she's got a lot of irons in the fire, I guess I should say. And so we will reschedule her and get her on here again soon. But if anybody has any questions or wants to, give me a shout about some thoughts they have, or how we can make all of this better for all of you, because that's why we do this. We do this for the listeners. Just reach out to me, iwmanation@gmail.com. So Tina and Shelly, Lewis and Benjamin, thank you for being on live with me tonight. I'll talk to you soon. And if I don't see you next week, I hope to see you at the track sometime this summer. All right. Have a good week.